Jailbreak is turning 6 years old and it has over 80 vehicles in the game. While there are several amazing vehicles, which we're going to cover soon, there are also several other vehicles which are very mediocre or even outright bad. Today I'm going to talk about what I think are the 10 worst jailbreak vehicles of all time, and I'm going to explain why I personally think they are the worst. It's totally cool for you to disagree with me, it's all subjective opinion, just do so in a respectful manner in the comments below. And let's get started. First up, we have the ambulance. I do like the look of this vehicle a lot, and I appreciate it has a unique gimmick. The thing is, the stats on this vehicle are not very good, and the gimmick it has can easily be accessed elsewhere. If you're low on health, you can heal up in the back, but you can already heal up using the force field launcher, which is much more practical to use as you can carry it around with you. Whereas you have to spawn the ambulance every time you want to use it. And if you're inside a robbery and need to heal up, spawning an ambulance won't help you out very much. It also costs more than the force field launcher, so I really don't see a purpose for buying or using this vehicle at all, and I've pretty much never used it since it was added 5 years ago. Then we've got the pickup truck. Now this might be a shocking placement for many of you. I know a lot of people consider this to be a decent starter vehicle, but I personally find it to be pretty useless. Yes, it's spawnable, and it seats 4 people. But you know what else is spawnable and seats 4 people? The Jeep, and it's a decent bit faster. I just find the pickup to be very obsolete now, and if I was a noob playing today, I would not use this vehicle at all, as there are better options for you to use if you're a free-to-play new player. After that, we have the UFO. Right off the bat, this vehicle costs 500k and it's slower than the Little Bird, which costs much less than this. For 500k, the stats are simply not worth it. It also spawns in a pretty remote location, the military base, and that's its only spawn. It's not worth the time and effort to drive all the way to the military base just to access this vehicle. Overall, this vehicle does not have good stats, and the spawn location makes it pretty inconvenient to access. Therefore, I don't think it's worth the 500k price tag. Next, the camper van. Now, of course, this vehicle looks really good. Unfortunately, that's the best I can say about it. Yes, it can seat 6 people, but vehicles like the Cybertruck are similar in price and have better stats while also having the same seating capacity. Speaking of which, the stats on this vehicle are not good. It's slower than the Camaro. Now look, I don't think this needs to be literally the torpedo, but at the very least, I think it should be better than a free car. This vehicle is just obsolete to me. There's no reason to use it. Therefore, I can't say much good about this. Then we have the dirt bike. In general, I think bikes in Jailbreak could really use a revamp, and I hope they get one eventually. In terms of stats, I think the dirt bike is really bad. It's really slow, and it doesn't have a good spawn location, but at least it seats 2 people. I think with the speed buff and changes in controls, this vehicle could dramatically improve in quality, and hopefully it wouldn't be in the top 10 worst vehicles any longer. Next, we've got the semi-truck. Stats wise, I don't think there's anything really wrong with this vehicle. It's massive and a semi-truck, so it doesn't need to be that fast. It was also a lot of fun for trolling and completely wrecking all roads in the city. However, unfortunately, besides the trolling appeal, this vehicle is good for pretty much nothing else. The stats are painfully slow, and since the vehicle is so big, it's super easy for people to take it out. So yeah, not much else I can really say about it. Then we've got the ATV. This one really breaks my heart. I used to use this vehicle all the time when I first started playing back in 2018. I think this was one of the first vehicles I bought. Back then, the vehicle was actually really good, but it used to fling pretty often since I had poor internet. Now, however, the vehicle is really abysmal. It's very slow now, it's even slower than the Camaro. It now only seats 1 person. The performance is absolutely terrible for a vehicle that costs 50k. At least the acceleration on this vehicle is pretty good, but that's the best I can say about it. If you're stranded, it might make a good escape from the train, but you could just use the pickup truck, which spawns very close by anyways. Therefore, I think this is easily one of the worst jailbreak vehicles. Kicking off the top 3, we have the Cruiser. This vehicle used to have some purpose when it spawned at the island prison, but it has since been replaced by the jet ski, which is a far superior escape vehicle. In terms of stats, the Cruiser is very slow. It only really works in water. As an escape vehicle from the power plant, the DeLorean is far superior as it's actually right in front of the power plant, and it can go on land as well as water. Plus, it's much faster. Therefore, the Cruiser is another jailbreak vehicle that I think is really obsolete. You can't even customize it. For some reason, it always sinks to the floor of the ocean, which is pretty weird. And the worst sin of all, my legs stick out of the bottom. This cements this vehicle as the 3rd worst jailbreak vehicle of all time. It should be left to rot at the bottom of the ocean. For the penultimate worst vehicle in Jailbreak, we have the Sloop. Looking at the performance, this vehicle is abysmal. It's not worth the $1 million price tag, and it's probably the slowest vehicle in the entire game. It only seats one player, even though it can probably fit the whole server, and obviously it only works on water. It's just a joke vehicle. Admittedly, it's a very funny joke vehicle, but for normal gameplay, it's not good. Therefore, due to the performance for the price, I believe this vehicle is the second worst. But without a doubt, the worst jailbreak vehicle of all time is the torpedo. Yes, you have been lied to your whole life. This vehicle is absolute trash. Now, we all know that this vehicle is terrible when it comes to looks, but even in terms of stats, it's absolute trash. So yeah, this vehicle is truly abysmal, and it deserves its place as the worst jailbreak vehicle of all time. Alright y'all, chill out. Before you guys literally start screaming and shaking and crying in my comments, Torpedo's not that bad. Sure, it's a little overrated, but the speed is great and it's definitely worthy to be the most sought after vehicle in trading. No, this is not the worst vehicle in Jailbreak. No, the worst vehicle of all time is a vehicle that's not even in the game anymore. The OG Volt Bike. It has the honor of being a vehicle so bad the devs ended up removing it from the game completely. Now the only bad thing about this vehicle being removed is that I can't even show footage of myself driving it when I'm talking about it. So you'll just have to look at the good Volt Bike for most of this segment. Now when the OG Volt Bike was around, playing the game was absolute hell. Now when it was first added, the OG Volt Bike was really good and it stayed this way for a couple of years. But then an update completely broke it. When the vehicle was used normally, it would completely flip upon making contact with the smallest object. Even the lines on the road, which are a tiny bit higher than the black pavement, completely derailed this vehicle. This vehicle was very difficult to use normally as it would flip constantly, and it was pretty much impossible to avoid running into that issue. So we already have a vehicle that's so buggy, it's nearly impossible to use. However, it only got worse from here. A glitch involving the vehicle was discovered that, no joke, might be the most game-breaking glitch the game has ever had. The glitch turned the vehicle into something that could scale entire mountains. It could practically fly. Players using this glitch had a massively unfair advantage as they were able to easily escape their opponents. It was very difficult for cops to catch criminals, and it was very difficult for criminals to escape cops who were using this vehicle and could easily track them down. This vehicle made gameplay a lot less fun for both teams, and unfortunately it was so prevalent that Volt users were nearly inescapable. Now you could try taking out the vehicle with road spikes, but unfortunately it was super easy for the vehicles to just fly over them. So here we had a vehicle that totally sucked when used normally, and when used with the glitch it became so overpowered that it actively ruined gameplay. It was the worst of both possible worlds. Therefore, without question, I unironically believe this is the worst vehicle Jailbreak has ever had, and probably ever will have. It would honestly be quite impressive if a worse vehicle than this was somehow added. I'm so grateful this abomination of a vehicle has been gone for almost 2 years now, and I'm very happy with its replacement. But that's going to wrap up my ranking of what I believe are the top 10 worst jailbreak vehicles ever. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think are the worst vehicles? Remember, this list is just my opinion and you're totally free to disagree with me, except for the top number 1 choice, of course. Just do so in a respectful manner in the comments. Also remember, I'll be releasing a top 10 best vehicles video next week, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day.